Well, how many speeches have you heard in the last week or two? Everybody's getting their last crack at you before you move to the next step. A lot of speeches around graduation, a lot of wisdom, a lot of pride, a lot of relief. How many mixed feelings are there? It's bittersweet in a way, because a graduation is a ritual. It's a rite of passage. So they don't just hand you a diploma. They make you dress up in these funny outfits, which we wouldn't wear anywhere else except in kindergarten. I think we had one of those earlier. And we go through the ritual of being, how do we say it? Being called to end a chapter of your life, and then from that starts a new one. We need rites of passage to help us from our head into our hearts to know something is over, for better or for worse, and something else is beginning, and we're not quite sure what that is. And we need to be able to be grateful in the midst of our sadness, because endings are a loss. And the sadness of a graduation is we're never going to be together in the same way as we are this morning, or in your classes, in the schools, and in your programs that you've been involved in. That's a loss. And we don't like loss in life. And there are a lot of them that come. On the other hand, it's an ending that says, I've done it. Yes. And it's a sense of, I can do what I wasn't sure I could do. And we don't have to be squeaky clean perfect about it, but we need these moments to say, to benchmark, I have fulfilled a goal and I am grateful. A lot of other people are too. Now, when we come to the church this morning, we add another ingredient, and that is you are baptized disciples of Jesus Christ in the Catholic tradition. So we have something to say too about this. I think we invented these rituals in the church many, many centuries ago. A lot of this comes out of our religious tradition. At any rate, today is the feast of God. So when I say God, what picture do you have in your head? Now we have images, the risen Christ, Christ on a cross. But all of us, when we say God, something kicks in. We have a picture. And everyone might have a different one based on how we were formed and how we've studied, how we've prayed, and how we've grown over the course of a lifetime so far. The scriptures today and the feast of the church is that God is a Trinity of persons, Father, Son, and Holy Spirit, but a unity in substance. There are not three gods. Now, from the beginning of history, we've been trying to figure out who God is. In the ancient world of polytheism, everything was a god. Thunder, light, the moon, the sun, the water, etc. We didn't know quite how to, we knew there were powers beyond our control, but they've not known how to address it. So if you go back and you do religious studies, and some of you might have that in your ongoing education in the future, you'll see everything under the sun in the traditions of the world religions over the history of the earth. As Christians, we flow out of the Jewish tradition. Jesus was Jewish, by the way. God is one, but he comes as the human face of God. And then when he leaves, says, I am leaving, but I'm not leaving. I am giving you my spirit. So there's the one who sends Jesus, Father, Jesus who is Son, and the Spirit who links us to him and to each other. For our purposes today, and maybe for the rest of your life, you're going to be trying to figure out where is God, even if it's not on the tip of your tongue and in front of you. We're always wondering about spiritual things. St. Augustine in the 4th century said, Lord, you have made us for yourself, and our hearts will not rest until they rest in you. That means there is a hole in the human heart that will never be filled on the face of this earth. We try to fill it with a lot of things, but it will never totally be filled until it is filled in our eternal life. And this life is a preparation, it's a journey to our ultimate home, where that will be filled. In all of the craziness and stuff that you deal with, that we deal with today, and all the confusion about religion and the arguments and the political divides and all of the stuff over religious truth, don't ever forget that every human being has the same hole in his or her heart that only God can fill. And it is about love. Since God is a Trinity, let's use three things today that I'd like you to take with you. Let's think, how are you going to be close to God? How are all of us going to be close to God? How do we know? Three things. Communication. This is in God. Communication, relationship, and affection. Communication, relationship, and affection. They're all connected. There are three things but one thing. If God is love, we will approach and experience God in the love that is behind our ability to communicate, to form good, and I mean solid relationships, not fly-by-night relationships, and to learn how to love and to share our affection with others as we desperately need it from them for ourselves. The difference between existing and living is how we get those three things. Communication. Everybody thinks they know how to communicate. Communication is more about listening than it is about expressing ourselves. How many classes have you had so far, even in high school, on listening? Don't all stand up and cheer. How many classes have you had on speaking, writing, expressing yourself to others? Have you had some of that? What have you had more of? Expressing yourself to others. Would you agree? How about listening to others? No. So apparently that's not important. Nobody knows how to listen. You've already turned me off. 7 minutes is more than anybody could bear. And we never learned that quick enough. We don't listen. And by listening, what I'm saying is, I am going to stop thinking about what's going on in me, and I'm going to be there for you. I am totally present to you. I won't finish your sentences. I won't say, I already know what you're going to say because I've known you long enough. There's nothing new you're going to tell me. That kind of stuff. That's what we do. Especially the more we know each other, we stop listening. That's a problem in families. What are they going to tell me that I have not already heard a gazillion times? And then little by little, then we realize as we get older how much we're just like the people we got mad at when we were younger. You know? But listening is critical. And that is the ability to put aside my biases, my fears, and my arrogance to allow you to speak to me. And I will listen to you without censoring you and shutting you down and disrespecting you. That's love. And how many times have you said, nobody understands me? Nobody knows what I'm going through. That's when we feel unlistened to by the people who say they love us. We're so busy giving each other advice that we don't listen to what's underneath all of that. Families, take note. We could all be better at this. So communication is a big deal. Figure out how you're going to be better listeners to the people of your life. When engaged couples come to be married, we do a focus communication inventory with the engaged couples. And they fill out a battery of questions, not a test, it's an inventory. And you agree, disagree, uncertain about their relationship. And what that does really is gives them a little bit of a profile of how they communicate with each other. And they're better in some things, worse in other things. It's a wonderful tool. I wish everybody could take the focus. Maybe at the end, when the Lord meets us at the pearly gates, we're all going to do a focus test. How well did you listen in your life? Number 2, relationship. How can you be a friend to anybody, number 1, if you don't communicate and listen? It's connected. Who are your best friends and the people you are closest to in your families and in those circles of relationship? Who are what are the best ones? Where there is that ability to share. Which ties into number 3, affection. How can I love somebody that I don't know? How can I give myself how can I try to share myself with you if you won't let me in? Did you ever try to love somebody, befriend somebody who wasn't interested in you? It ain't fun. It is not fun, and we kill ourselves, literally, trying to make friends with people who don't care about us. That's a big downer, which means you can't make anybody love anybody in a deep way. That has to come from the inside out. And we have to get better at discerning who are the people that really we can share with and who can share with us, and those that we can't. You can't love everybody the same. The most important ones in life, the ones whom hopefully that you will be engaged to and marry, if that's your vocation, or the people that you are closest to. And by the way, best friends are the longest friends. The track record that goes forever. I buried my mother about 6 weeks ago, in the middle of April, and I called my best friend, who I went to the seminary with. When my mother died, I got on the phone. He was in Claremore, Oklahoma. And I said, Mom died, get on a plane, you're given the homily. I said, I cannot preach my mother's funeral. He got on a plane and was here and got me through my mother's funeral and said what I could. Only he could have given the homily, but we've been friends for 44 years. Somebody I met last year could never have done what he did for me. This is what it's about. A lot of give and take, a lot of ups and downs. But our relationship with God is like that. It's learning to communicate better. Part of the problem with I don't know how to pray is I'm trying to do too much. People come to me and say, well, what prayer do I use for this situation? I don't know. Maybe you don't need words. Maybe I need to sit still and say nothing and learn to listen, and somehow a message will come to me that God is trying to share with me about my life. We're too busy, we're too distracted, we have too much on our plate, and we can't sit still. So, you want to be close to God in the journey of your lifetime? It will be in the way you keep God in the center of your life, but our relationship with God in the church is no different than our relationship with the people of our daily lives. It's all the same. How do we learn to communicate? How do we value our relationships? And how do we share our love in a way that makes a difference between simply existing and truly living? This is why we're here. This is why there's a church. This is why Jesus left this work to his disciples to continue this to the end of the world. You heard it in the gospel. Go and tell everybody about this till the end. You have to do that too. My mission is to you. Our mission is to others. And that's how we go about this.